Melid and the Persian princess friend, they go down the tower after talking with the time dragon. They meet up with the main character, the scholar, and all the dragons they collected going up the tower, and then they go meet up with the time dragon. And the scholar hands over the time dragon's ashes to the time dragon. They discover that the era or thingy that connects all the levels of the tower is kind of broken. They have to go all the way to the bottom to the abyss to fix that connection. So two of them has to stay at top, two of them has to go to the bottom. The main character and the Melid, they go to the bottom while the scholar and the Persian princess friend stays at the top. And the scholar needs to basically rewrite all of the era, basically reworked it, and the Persian princess friend will be his protector. He will keep all the other creatures from attacking him, and the dragons will do their best to also protect the scholar. And then once everything is fixed, each of the dragons will go back to the level they belong in. Well, at the bottom of the abyss, the main character and the Melid, they find an artifact. And the main character, knowing that the Melid has the heart lamp and thinking the Melid is basically the chosen person for all of the artifacts, tries getting the Melid to, reassemble with the artifact. But nothing is happening. The artifact is rejecting the Melid, just like how the sword rejects the Melid. And the Melid is like, I knew this was going to happen. I figured this was going to happen. The only reason why I can get even the sword to work with me is because I have the heart lamp. If I didn't have the heart lamp, the sword would completely and utterly reject me. It's being forced to accept me because of the heart lamp. And so him and the main character has a conversation with it about it, and he's very accepting of it, or at least he tells the main character he's accepting of it. He will still work with the main character because, again, he has the heart lamp. He's still going to fight with the main character. Anywhere the main character goes, he will be there for the main character. They will go and collect the artifacts, and they will find the person that the artifacts resound with, or at least attempt to use the artifacts against the time dragon's son and the third heart demon. I was a little confused about that part, but yes, that is their plans. Once they have the artifact collected, they get the era fixed. The time dragon collects the main character, Melid, brings them back to the scholar and the Persian prince's friend, and the other dragons return back to the levels they belong in. Since they did everything that they did, now originally the main character Melid and the Persian prince's friend did know they could have done this because the scholar was going to keep this quiet and fix the issue himself with the dragons, because the dragons wanted to deal with it their own. Like, they caused this issue and problem, they wanted to fix it on their own. But the Melid overheard their conversation, or figured that they were going to do something, and he put his foot down and enforced the scholar and the dragons to let them help. And so they ended up helping. This also prevents the scholar from having to stay for 2 centuries to fix the tower. He can now leave and return with them. Once they get everything settled, the scholar wants to take a break. He didn't want to leave the tower right away. He wanted to take a resting period. He is exhausted. He's tired. He wants to prepare for what could be possibly waiting for them outside. It could be possibly winter. He just wants a little break. He knows that he will still have to use magic to get them outside of the tower. He just needs a resting break. But the Melid, he is not letting the poor scholar take a break. He is putting his foot down. He's being very harsh with the scholar, very cruel with the scholar. So the scholar agrees, gets them outside the tower, back to where his grandfather is waiting. The others are not waiting because, again, it's been almost a year and a half since they entered the tower. They all basically gets a resting break before they head out, and only the Melid, the main character, and the Persian prince's friend are the ones who head out, because, again, the scholar is very weak, very tired, very exhausted, because he's the one who did most of the work for the era. And even after fixing the era, he had to fight a bunch of the creatures before they were sent back to their levels that they were supposed to be imprisoned in, with the dragons who would guard them. Like, he's exhausted and tired. And the Melid even apologizes for it. He's very regretful for being as harsh and cruel with the scholar. He's like, I shouldn't have treated you that way. That is terrible. You stay here and rest. And once you get your resting done, come meet up with us. And the scholar agrees with that. I'm happy my sweet sugar baby is not going to be gone for very long. Because every time he leaves, I'm like, don't leave. Return back. Come back. You need to come back to the store. I cannot wait for very long. I'm also still anxious about that vision the main character had of him dying. Like, I do not need him dying on me. He needs to stay alive. I'm telling you that. He needs to stay alive. And he also needs to show up very soon in book 6. Because I don't know if I can last very long without him in book 6. The Persian prince's friend, he has a crush on the main character, or at least he's flirty with the main character. And he at first would have attempted to have a relationship with the main character if it hadn't been for the fact that the main character and Melody confirmed their relationship. And he's still flirty with the main character, but he's not crossing any lines. But he likes to kind of rub his little crush in the Melly's face just to mess with the Melly. And it really much angers the Melly, and I get why the Melly'd be angry, but I also like the Persian prince's friend gets entertained watching someone tease and mess with a jealous partner. It's just a little fun, right? It's just entertaining to do. And so that is what he's doing. And he's like, well, if you don't want me messing with the main character, you should find me a partner, right? You should find me a romantic spouse. Because you guys are together, the wolf and deer are together, the friend of mine has his fiance like me, and the scholar are the only single ones in our group. We need partners. Typically, I need a partner. And the Melly goes, you can get with him. You can get with the scholar. And I'm like, yes, you can. You can get with the scholar. Get with him. Be together. Be husbands together. You guys are meant to be with each other. Like, just be with each other. Like, do it. Come on. Be with each other. It's after this conversation does the scholar and the Persian prince's friend gets set up to fix the era together while the Melody and the main character went to the bottom to fix the era. Like, woo! And he had to guard and protect the scholar, and when he was about to be in danger, the scholar stepped in and protected him once he got the era fixed. Like, come on, they have to be together. Tell me, do they get together in the future? Please tell me they do. Or who do they get together in the future? Do they get with anyone in the future? Someone, please tell me. I want to know. The noble consort, she's kind of having a breakdown over finding out that her cousin and her sister were revealed to not be who they were. And so this is causing her a lot of issue and strife. And this is when the time dragon son shows up, releases his vessel to her, and then leaves. And before he releases his vessel, she called for the emperor, who shows up and has a brief conversation with the time dragon's son, who basically is like, I used to want to take over your kingdom and now I do not, but you have to be worried about the third heart demon. Which he's not wrong. The third heart demon rebelled a month before the main character, the Melly, the scholar, and the Persian prince's friend was released from the tower. Before the Melid had went off traveling with the others to the tower, he did have a conversation with the emperor about everything that happened, but he didn't outright tell the emperor the identity of who the time dragon's son was. He didn't tell him it was the right chancellor, but the emperor figured it out on his own. The emperor had figured out that it was the right chancellor from just having a bit of brief conversation with the Melid, and the way the Melid was hinting at it. He didn't want to say that. But the emperor makes sure that when he gives the orders to search for the right chancellor, he outright basically reveals that the right chancellor is the time dragon's son. He also orders for others to find the heart demon and that heart demon's identity.